Well, hey y'all, thank you for coming back to jensmeramecvalleyhome. I'm Jen, and we are here today, and we're going to call this Cookie Tuesday. Let's take a little time to reflect on our childhoods and our parents and our grandparents and all the wonderful cookie recipes that they had and have passed on to us, and just forget our troubles of the day for a little bit. We're making some oatmeal cookies today that are just going to be fabulous. They are made with bacon drippings and some crumbled bacon in them, and they're just going to be so delicious. You can make this recipe with butter also. I'll go over that with you in just a few minutes because not everybody really likes to use the bacon fat, but butter would be perfectly fine as well. So we're going to get started here. I've got all my ingredients together. And I tell you what, this is going to be a great cookie. Let me tell you, anything that's got bacon in it is sure to be a winner. So come on, get your cute little aprons on. Let's bake some cookies because we got a whole lot of bacon to do. Okay, so let's get started. And I apologize if I sound a little raspy. I've had allergies really bad for the last few days. And yesterday was just the worst day. But today I feel a lot better from it. So I just wanted to let you know that. I'm fine. I'm just suffering with fall allergies, which I do have and have been tested for. So just letting you know that. So I think over there you can see I've got bacon cooked up. I've got my bacon grease over here. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that this recipe is going to have chocolate chips in it too? So it's going to be oatmeal, bacon, chocolate chips. Cookies. So we're going to have those, and they're going to be delicious. Bacon, chocolate, it's all wonderful. All right, so we are going to start out with 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So let's get our cup out here. And you know me, I always just kind of as they say, eyeball it, but that's what I do. And we're going to have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to pack that as well because that makes sure that we get all the good stuff that we need here out of our brown sugar. Let's pack that so we can make 3/4 of a cup. Just a little less than that. And I think that's about right. So we're just going to put that in there. There we go. I tell you what, it has been a fabulous fall day today. And the sun has been shining. It got really cool last night. And luckily, my greenhouse is on the go. So I've had some of my house plants in there and some other plants. And I'm going to have a video on that later. But because it is still progressing, we're not done with it yet, but it is coming along. So probably by the end of this week, I'll have a video on that as well. So let's see here. Now we're going to do our 1 egg, which I have here. Quite cracked the way I wanted it to. Okay, and then we're also going to do our bacon dripping. So it says we need a 3/4 of a cup, which we may or may not have. Let me see here. I think it might be close. Let's see. Oh, I think that's just spot on. That is just spot on. We've got some beautiful bacon grease here. And I'm just going to give this a little stir because we do have egg in here. And as I pour this warm grease in there, I do not want it to curdle this egg. So let's just pour what we call a little bit in. Let's temper it. Let's temper our batter, as they say. A little bit at a time. Just keep it worked up here. My gosh, that bacon smells so good. And I think we're just going to pour the rest of it in there because it's just what we're going to do. And that may seem like a lot, but believe me, it's going to soak in. We're going to put the oats in there. It's going to soak in and it's going to be real good. All right, so we're going to add our oats now. So we're going to add 2 cups. 2 cups of oats. Don't you just love these jars? I think they are just so good to, let's see here. Let me dig some out with this other cup here. We use what we have on our hands, right? Okay, so there's 1 cup. And we're going to do another cup here. Okay, set that to the side. Now we're going to do 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. Get my teaspoon here. I love cinnamon. It is just so good. You know, they say that if you put cinnamon in your water and drink it, it's a good fat burner. Now, I've never tried that, and I wouldn't want to put too much cinnamon in water, but that's what they say. All right, so we're going to do our teaspoon of salt, which I've got my salt right here. If I can get it open there. Okay, got our salt in there. And we're going to do our 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I've got some of that right here. Okay. All right, and then we're going to add our 1.5 cups of flour. And I have that right here. And see, I do kind of want to give those a little bit of a stir so that bacon grease just kind of soaks in. Wow, that is so delicious looking. And all that bacon grease it's really just getting absorbed into the grease and all the other ingredients. All right, so let's go for our 1.5 cups of flour. There's one. And we're just going to do a 1/2 cup. There we go. Okay, and let's see here. Now we're just going to mix this all up. As you can see, we got our flour and we've got all of our other yummy ingredients in here. We're just going to mix this all up. Now, of course, you just want to mix all this in till, you know, the flour is absorbed into it. Excuse me, it's getting a little warm in here now with the oven on. Okay, so okay, so we've got our ingredients well incorporated here. Now we're going to take some bacon. I'm going to move that out of the way. My husband, he really does not like crisp bacon, so I'm looking for the bacon that's the most crisp. That's pretty crisp. And you know, you can just kind of, you can either rough chop it, you can just break it off in here in little pieces. You know, I think this would be a winner with any man's heart. It's just, what could go wrong with bacon and chocolate? Sounds delicious to me. And really, you know, it calls for 4 pieces of bacon. I mean, you can put, you know, less if you want. That's always the option. Now, if you don't want to just break it off like I'm doing, you can just do a little rough chop on it. That's fine also. But I think it's going to turn out really well. And you know, this is a Depression era recipe This is something they used to make, you know, back in the early 1930s. People didn't have a lot back then. And they basically substituted certain things and made do with what they had. I can remember my mother telling me that sometimes, you know, when they didn't have anything really sweet, because during the Depression they had to ration sugar and gasoline and all kinds of things. And she said that they would take lard and make my grandma would make bread. Excuse me, I was wiping my hands off there. My grandma would make bread, and they'd take some lard and, you know, spread it on the bread and add just a smidgen of sugar onto it, just enough to coat it a little bit. That was a real treat for them because, like I said, they had to ration all those different things, and sugar was one of them. And as a matter of fact, when I was younger, my dad showed me a book of the ration stamps that they had because he had kept some of those over the years. And it was sad, but it was also awesome at the same time to see a piece of history like that. All right, so let's see here. Now, I know I've got chocolate chips floating around over here, so we're just going to take a little walk over here. Grab those. Okay. Now I've got a jar of chocolate chips here. Calls for 6 ounces. I'm just going to put in enough to where I think it's going to be enough. Let's work that in and see how that goes. Add a few more. Can never have too much chocolate. Just make sure that's all incorporated really well. Okay, I think we've got a winner here. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it over here because we're going to be using that later for me and my husband's dinner for some bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches. Okay, all right, so using our best tools in the kitchen, which are our hands, we're going to form these into 1.5 to 2 inch cookies, and we're going to put them on this sheet here, this non-stick baking sheet. So let's just dig in, get it all together here. It says 1 to 2.5 inch cookies, so, and you may have to press them down a bit if we want them, you know, to be hold on just a second here. Okay, so we are going to make our cookies into little balls or little cookie shapes here. Just kind of mash them down. Make sure we get some of that good bacon in there. Good chocolate. Just going to put them on there like that. You could make these a little smaller if you want. You can make them a little bigger if you want. We're just going to place them right on there. I have a little bit too much in there. Oh, Miss Kitty. She went out for her afternoon sunbathing, as we call it. And she wants to go out some more. Can't blame her. It's a pretty nice day out. Still a little cool though. Now, these are, of course, full of bacon grease and bacon and all those good things. And really, too, it doesn't matter if these look perfect or not. They will bake up into a really nice cookie. Make sure you set your oven at 375 because that'll bake them correctly on the right temperature. And use a nonstick pan, or if you don't have your nonstick pan, put some parchment paper down. And use your parchment paper. That one don't seem like it wants to stick very good, but we're going to let it go like that. All right, so we've got those, and we're going to bake these for about, 10 minutes in the oven. So let's get our oven open here. Let's get them in there. And we're going to time those for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we are back. The cookies are done. It smells wonderful in here. And as you can see back here, I have still the cookies they're cooling, but I would manage to grab one. Actually, it is pretty cool to the touch. And some pointers of things I wanted to tell you about with this delicious cookie. As you can see, it's got the bacon in it, the chocolate chips, the oats. It's just wonderful. And so if you're going to do the recipe without the bacon drippings, just use 3/4 of a cup of butter instead of the 3/4 of a cup of bacon drippings. So that would be the recipe with the butter. And I'll put that in the description below. So you'll have that. And if you have any questions or comments, you can always email me at jensmeramecvalleyhome.com. And So I think we need a taste test on these. And we also need to thank whoever came up with this recipe many, many, many years ago. God bless them, because I think they had a lot of wise and wonderful creative ideas that they came up with. So here we go. I'm going to just take a little piece here, but I do want a piece with the bacon in it and the chocolate. Oh my gosh, y'all. If you love bacon, the taste of bacon with chocolate, look at that. That has got bacon and chocolate in there. So good. The texture is good. It kind of, excuse me, I'm still. So the texture is, it hardens up a little bit more as it sets. So when you put it in the oven, it's going to look kind of weird. And the consistency will be kind of weird when you're making your cookies. But basically what will happen is that that dough will flatten out and it'll make that cookie just like that. The backs are like that. It is kind of a crispy cookie, but it's also a good milk dunking cookie, I would think. So, or you could use that as a breakfast cookie. So that is another idea that you could do for your breakfast or just a snack. So, and I think your kids will just love this. So, at any rate, if you like my videos, and I know a lot of you do, you've been letting me know. If you love my videos and you want to see more of them, just hit the subscribe, like them, and share is a very important part of this. Just share the videos, and hit the little notification bell at the bottom. It tells you when I'm have brought up another new video. But I do thank you for coming into my home this evening and sharing some times and actually some memories for me. And I hope that it brings back memories for you too. God bless the folks of the Great Depression era. They sacrificed a lot for our country, and they did it for the war effort at that time. So that should be an inspiration to us all. So with that, love you guys. Have a great evening. And as always, don't let your heart be troubled.